I'm Philip Stoten for EMS Now. I'm here at APEX 2013 in San Diego, and I'm joined by John Mitchell, who is the president of IPC. John, thanks very much for joining me.
My pleasure.
Thanks for talking to me. First of all, let's start with the show. It looks like a bumper show down there. It looks like it's continuing to grow. Does that bode well for the show, and more importantly, does it bode well for the US industry?
You know, the show is growing, which we're very excited about. The floor space is actually, we sold over 100% of our target. So that was, to me, is indicative that the industry is, they're still kind of coming out of the 2009 slump, if you will, but things seem to be getting more back in swing. With regards to the U.S. industry, we're seeing a lot in the news and in some of our studies as well that are saying, you know, look, there is some movement back here as well. But as you know, IPC is a global association, so we try not to focus on any one particular industry segment. We try to serve the industry wherever they're located.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are seeing some reshoring in the US. We're seeing some reshoring perhaps in Europe as well. And to me, that's just a kind of a balance. There was this drive to Asia, and some of it made sense, some of it clearly didn't. And there's some correction going on in that, which I think is
and as the market changes, I mean, China, the salaries are going up there and costs are increasing, and so when you have that happen, suddenly it's not quite as good of opportunity as it was maybe 5-10 years ago, and so I think you'll see some shifting around the globe.
Yeah, and new president, we're expecting some new initiatives, new things going forward. What plans have you got for specifically this year and on an international basis?
Okay, specifically for this year, well, we just finished getting our 3-year plan, our long-range plan, approved by the board, and so that began as January this year. One of the new initiatives that we're focused on is our certification quality initiative. As you know, IPC does a lot of certification around our standards. Obviously, IPC is most known for its standards. And as we've broaden our reach in the certification process, at the end of every certification there's an examination or a test, if you will, and so we're trying to shore that up and help make it more efficient, as well as improve the quality of it. Right now in many of the certification systems there's only 2 exams, and so as those become more known around the world, we wanted to ensure that, you know, people aren't just teaching to the exams, if you will, as opposed to teaching the information. And so we'll be randomizing questions, having a centralized testing piece that you'll go online to be able to take as well. We'll also do a paper version of that too, because some places can't handle it. But the idea is then to improve so the certification that an employee might get is truly meaningful. Yeah,
and is that an international thing? Are those things translated into the various different languages worldwide and provided wherever they're needed?
Again, it'll be based on, you know, market pieces. That's why some of the paper stuff will exist. But we'll be translating them across.
Okay, and you say that IPC is predominantly known for standards. It is known for standards, but over the last 10 years it's become more known for events as well, and that's a key part of the strategy.
It is.
Certainly out here in the US, also the events you've done in Budapest, and then stuff you're doing in Asia as well. What does the event landscape look like? Because I know there are some changes, for example, around Midwest and those kind of things.
Well, so, you know, I keep thinking it all comes back. There's 2 central focuses to IPC. It's standards and membership success. And so we've actually restructured, we actually have an entire division now devoted to member success, and events is part of that. So with those events, new ones you'll see, so as you mentioned, Midwest, we're looking to combine that with SMTAs to provide in the US a single fall event, again, focusing on the industry. My understanding is previously the events had been within just a few weeks of each other. And so industry members would have to choose, because budgets aren't what they used to be. I can't just go to every event in the world now. So we're collaborating with SMTA to put that together as a single event. So that's one initiative. We're also looking at other events around the world, so where we can bring our training or technical conferences, things like that. We don't, I don't feel like IPC has to own the world of events. You know, if there's Productronica in Europe, maybe we should be there having a little conference or a seminar or something like that. So just trying to look to collaborate with other players in the industry to better serve the industry.
Yeah, and I think pavilions are those kind of events where you can actually, you know, not show some authority, but show some expertise and bring some people together and maybe support your members at those specific events. What about in the US? You've got what you're doing in Texas with SMT-AI, but are there any other events planned?
Sure.
Did I hear about something in Vegas or?
Yes, the ESTC conference in Vegas in May. We're looking at doing a medical conference, a medical focus conference again later this year, and then there's a couple other events. So yeah, we are doing more, but I think as opposed to Apex, which is so massive and general, meets lots of people's needs and pulls everybody together. These events will be very niche focused. You know, it's electronics component systems will be, you know, the one in Vegas, and or a specific niche of the medical area, so that really target where we see gaps that the members are talking about.
Yeah, and in terms of those identifying those areas that you do serve, I guess there's a challenge there, because there's a bunch of different disparate communities that are connected together, some of which serve each other within the IPC membership. I think when I first got involved in IPC, it was predominantly known for printed circuit board. Then there was the SMEMA merger, and it became much more involved in assembly. Now we see more and more of your members coming perhaps from the EMS world. Well,
and actually a third of our membership's OEM. So we look at the entire value chain, from OEM down to materials. You know, you've got OEMs, you know, EMS, printed circuit boards, components. We're trying to serve that entire value chain that way. But then you also look at the verticals. So there's military, aerospace, telecommunications, medical, automotive, you know, and on and on and on. And then you go this way. So looking at globally, you know, it's Europe and Asia and North America, and so this $2+ trillion industry, how does a little organization like us try to serve it? And so we try to focus where there's the most benefit to the most members initially. So while there are lots of needs, we have to kind of do a Pareto analysis of where can we do the most good with the resources when we make an investment in the industry. Yeah, and if we look specifically at Asia, not just China, the Pacific Rim, those kind of areas, I know the organization's been out there quite quickly. I think David Bergman takes care of that out there. Well, yeah, David's over our entire international piece. However, we did just hire a IPC president of China, Phil Carmichael, who just began in January, and so he is based and focused totally on the People's Republic of China. So he's got China, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. And then David's actually brought on another individual, Raymond Fu, who's in Southeast Asia. And Raymond Fu was our Asian editor before. Well, there you go. Came to work here. So Raymond's helping us out on those fronts as well. So, and he's, you know, we're looking, basically, you know, we take various looks at like heat maps of the globe and say, okay, where's EMS? Well, here are the hot spots. What are we doing to serve the members in that? Where's the PCB industry? There's the hot spots of this. Where's the OEMs, et cetera? And from there, try to develop the programs and the initiatives that are going to serve that market. And what about collaboration with local trade associations? For example, in Asia, there are a bunch of different associations. It's a kind of a younger industry. Yeah, and most of the associations that I've seen over there, so for instance, we have a coordinated show with HKPCA, the Hong Kong Printed Circuit Association, that we do in December, and I was just there a couple of months ago. So we participate in their shows also. We have sometimes seminars or you know, go out with part of the WEC initiative there. So we partner a lot, actually. It's, you know, the reason these associations exist is not for our individual association growth. It's really, we're all focused on, or should be, all focused on the industry. And as long as we can find ways to focus on the industry, you're able to find ways to work together. So, John, focusing on the industry, how do you, as the president, find out what those members want? How do you get, and there are too many to go and see everybody. That's right. You've got opportunities here. This week, I guess you're going to meet a lot of people, networking opportunities. But how do you actually find out what they need? How do we keep our finger on the pulse of what they need? So there's lots of ways. As I mentioned before, it's about member success and standards. So the member success area, we just brought in a new vice president, Sanjay Huprikar. And so Sanjay's over member success, and that initiative is one of the other things we're doing this year, is trying to grow our reach into the various membership. So when I was working in industry, we had key account representatives. And what would they do? They'd go and visit, and they knew everything about the company that they could. And they say, so what's going on? What's wrong? What's happening? And they try to solve those problems. We're going to be attempting to do very much the same thing.
Okay.
I'm on the road most of the time. People ask, where do I live? And I tell them, seat 10D on the airplane. But we're trying to visit with our members and ask them very specific questions. I did one trip where I think I met with 12 different members and asked them that question. Some of them had, and they know, everybody knows what their problems are, where their challenges are. And so when they share those with us, we don't, from as specific as this table and this spec, we're constantly talking with our suppliers, and we're arguing about that so we can try to solve that too. Boy, we have this general issue with when we're dealing with our OEMs, could you help us work with this? And when we hear common ground, then we say, that's what we need to do. So we have this whole new initiative about trying to be better at the communicating with the membership. And since I've been on here, I've been in the little monthly article I put out in our IPC Outlook. I put my email address out there, and people email me, which is great. I just say, look, you want me to know what the issues are, then tell me.
Then just tell me, let me know. And to a certain extent, it's behaving like a proper company, if you like, isn't it? It's actually
you have to.
You have to. And behaving like a supplier, which is...
And that's what we are.
What you are.
Our members are our customers. And so if you want to look at it in that vernacular, but if we stop serving them, then we're out of business, so to speak.
Absolutely. Okay. John, thanks very much for the insight. Really fascinating. Looking forward to seeing what happens with IPC this year, and maybe we can talk again similar time next year.
I look forward to it.
But in the meantime, enjoy the show. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.